Office 2001 is a rooms-like Roblox game that, despite its name, was not made in 2001 but in 2024, made by 7 times over. Unlike other rooms-likes, Office 2001 doesn't give you any instructions, like, at all, for anything. This game is mainly about trial and error, so that's why this video isn't a guide to everything, since that'd kind of ruin the fun. I'll only be talking about the rooms and entities found between doors 1 to 99, not because I suck and that's as far as I've gotten. Anyway, I'd also like to make it clear that I'm not 100% sure about how everything in this game works, since, again, I haven't gotten that far, so don't take everything I say as fact. And with that, let's start the video. Before you begin the game, you're put into an elevator that you do nothing in. I think the elevator just serves as a sort of loading screen, and once you're in, you can press a button to speed up the timer. When the elevator's doors finally open, you get to pick a coil. These coils give you different abilities depending on what you pick, and are the most unique part of the game. There are 8 coils, of which there's Survivor's Resilience, which gives you regeneration at the cost of taking more damage. Desperate Pulse is the same, but at the cost of your energy instead. Silent Recluse gives you the option to hide under tables. Sixth Sense gives you a warning for certain entities but muffles your hearing. Sonic is exactly what it sounds like but also causes you to take more damage. Scavenger's Luck not only makes random noise every couple of rooms, which scares the fuck out of me every time, but also increases your chances of finding items and rings. What do rings do? Make a number go up. Loaded Dice is the most unique of the coils, as pressing T will allow you to flip a coin for a random ability. Now, I'm not fully confident on what these abilities do, since I've never gotten far with this coil, but I can guess. Flipping the coin can get you a speed boost, a strength boost, make entities spawn more, or nothing. The coin has a cooldown, so make sure not to spam it. Lastly, there's Vanilla Spirit, which changes nothing, and I recommend this coil if it's your first time playing the game, and then experiment with other coils later. I do not recommend Sixth Sense until you've gotten more familiar with the game. Trust me, it sounds great on paper, like hell yeah, I get a warning, who wouldn't want that? But for the first 99 rooms, I've only found that it warns you about one entity. Sound is really important in this game, so the coil muffling your hearing is more of a hindrance than actually helpful. It might be more useful in later rooms, but I wouldn't know because I suck at the game. Anyways, moving on. Unlocking and opening the painting will allow you to open the door to the next room. By the way, do not forget the flashlight that is next to the painting. My first playthrough of the game, I forgot it and had to wander through the dark rooms. The next room has a whiteboard which tells you to type /controls, which will, as predicted, show you the controls. These are the only instructions in the game, and even then, the whiteboard can easily be missed, like I did on my first playthrough. The second room has a lever which you can pull to access a room with fan art. I won't show the room since it has spoilers, but you can definitely check out the room for yourself. Once you go into the third room, the game has officially started, and from this point on, entities will spawn. To be honest, I don't know any of the entities' names. I couldn't find anything in-game or online that told me their names, so I just named them myself. If they do have names, please comment them. The first entity I want to talk about is Computer Guy. This entity has a chance to spawn wherever a computer is, which computers are everywhere, so good luck. The reason I want to talk about this entity is because it's one of the few instances of voice acting in this game. The entity will talk to you once it kills you.
We're better off without people like you.
Computer Guy is the only entity that I've seen that can talk, which I think is super cool. Other instances of voice acting are after room 60 when it's dark, and you can hear voices that I don't think belong to anything.
Did you see that?
Another entity I'd like to talk about is this massive flesh creature. It's definitely the creepiest out of all the entities in my opinion. It kind of looks like a fish to me. A very weird fish. This entity can spawn inside rooms, and you can get a somewhat good look at it if you look at it at an angle so that this light isn't blinding you. I think it's nice that you can look at this entity, since a lot of them can be hard to get a good look at because you're running away from them or just generally trying to avoid them. Hello. I like to call this thing Jeremy because he just looks like a Jeremy, and I don't really know what he does. I've never been killed by this entity, and every time I see him he just kind of stares at me and disappears. I think you just don't walk into him and you'll be fine. Oh, and he also has a gun. Why does he have a gun? I don't know. Does he ever shoot the gun? I hope not. Moving on, I'd like to talk about two entities at the same time since they're both related to what I'm going to talk about next. Red Guy and Blue Guy. Or should I say A60 and A120. Despite the note in the main menu saying this is not a fan game, and this whiteboard also saying these two specifically aren't here, as I was trying to find information about the game online, I stumbled on a video of what the game looked like a year ago. I'll link the video in the description since it's actually very interesting to see how far the game has come from what it originally looked like in 2024, and you should definitely watch it. But besides that, the note originally states that this is a Rooms fan game. This made me play the original Rooms game just to compare the two, and there are a lot of rooms from 2001 Office that look like the ones from the original Rooms. I think it's super cool that this game was originally a fan game and then became its own thing. It just shows how unique this game is. Hello, editing me here. I looked online again just to triple check there isn't anything more I could find about the game, and I actually found a wiki for the game. I don't know how true the information is on here, but the wiki does have pictures of the entities, which is super helpful. I'd like to add here, now that I'm taking a closer look at these two entities and reading the wiki, that I don't think these two are meant to be A60 or A120, but more references to them. So the whiteboard wasn't lying. Anyways, bye. You'll see me again soon. The last entity I want to talk about in this section is one I didn't catch on camera. Sorry, I did encounter this entity 3 times when I wasn't recording. Most of the footage I have is actually me trying to find this entity again, since it really puzzles me. I'll actually just describe what it looks like instead. This entity is what I believe to be a woman in black and white holding an umbrella, and as far as I know, she has no indication of when she'll arrive. She probably does, I just didn't notice it. But when she catches you, she'll lift you up in the air and teleport you to this backrooms area, which I did get footage of. I believe this is one of the few times I played with other people, and I was looking around frantically to see if anyone else was in here. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize there is no escape from this place, at least that's what I think, so eventually I just left. This entity really intrigues me just because of how odd it is. I mean, all the entities are confusing when you see them for the first few times, but eventually you learn their mechanics and they're easy to deal with, but this entity is rare, at least from my experience. The only times I've seen it is this area where you have to pull a lever to get to the next door, and this room where you have to press a button. So I really have no information about this entity. I just wanted to talk about it because it does intrigue me. Hello again, and from the wiki this is actually what the entity looks like. I have no idea why I thought this was a woman. I think I confused the crown for hair. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was too shocked every time this entity caught me to actually look. Okay, bye. This is the last you'll see of me. I'm going to go over this section briefly since there isn't a lot to talk about, but there are a couple rooms I'd like to mention because they're different. This first room I'm going to talk about usually appears at door 60. Before entering the room, you'll enter this boiler room, and once you open the door, the door will swing into an electrical box and the lights will shut off. After this room is when the game starts to get harder, with there being no light source except your flashlight and entity spawning wall. I remember when I first entered this room and I actually lost my mind. I was so paranoid. It doesn't help that there's random voices that come from the dark. Also in this room is a green crowbar. You don't have to pick it up, but you definitely should since you can hit some entities with it. The next room is my favorite. This room has a hall that is infinite. When going down this hall and walking for a bit, this will happen. I'll go over some honorable mentions now since these rooms are cool, but there just isn't a lot to talk about. First, there's this room with signs that have Japanese on them. I used Google to translate what was on the sign, so it might not be accurate, but I believe the sign says it's cold. This probably has some sort of lore relevance, but I couldn't tell you the lore of this game for the life of me. There's also this side room that I found with a hole. I was gonna go down it, but I freaked out when this weird glitch stuff started happening, so I chickened out. This room I mentioned earlier that has a chance of a guy spawning, which, fun fact, I found him on my first playthrough. And here's a few more rooms that I think look cool. As of writing this script, and probably by the time I've posted this video, 2001 Office is gone. I don't think it's deleted since I can see at most 5 people playing this game. My Roblox account is also set to age 18, so I don't think it's age restricted. When I try to play, it just says I don't have access to it, and when I try to search for it on another account, I couldn't find it. So I don't know what's going on with 2001 Office. If anyone knows, please tell me because I really want this game to come back. But in conclusion, if 2001 Office comes back, it's definitely worth your time. The game is so well made, and even though the learning curve can be a bit annoying, it's easy to figure out the entities after a few tries. You can also play with friends, which, by the way, I don't think there's a limit to how many people you can have in one game, so bring as many people as you want. There are also other game modes, which I've played one with another person and the other one I couldn't get to work, so there's still so much more to this game that I haven't talked about. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it since it's my first and it took me so long to make. Sorry, I love procrastinating. I hope you have a good day and bye bye.